Thank you for listening to the Business Blast podcast. So for all my listeners out there that have been wanting to do your own podcast, I'd like to introduce to you Anchor. Anchor is a one-stop shop for recording, hosting, distributing, and monetizing your podcast. So before I found Anchor, I had never actually done a podcast because all the research that I had gathered made it seem very complex. Then I found Anchor, and Anchor makes podcasting extremely simple. So if you want to do your own podcast, go to anchor.fm/start. I can't wait to hear your podcast.
Welcome to the Business Blast podcast. I'm your host, Tyler Wagner. This episode is brought to you by Authors Unite. Authors Unite provides you with all the resources you need to become a successful author. You can learn more about Authors Unite and join the free community at authorsunite.com. Now, let's jump into the episode.
All right, everyone. Welcome back to another episode of the Business Blast podcast. I'm your host, Tyler Wagner. Today I have Bob Phibbs with us. He's the CEO of The Retail Doctor. So welcome to the show, man.
Thanks very much.
Of course. We'll dive into the first question. The first one I have for you, Bob, is what is the best story from your life that has an underlying valuable message?
Well, I quit a job that I had helped a retailer grow from 6 stores to 54 around the U.S., went to a Tony Robbins seminar, and the one thing I took out of Tony's talk was you better come up with a brand nobody else can duplicate. Next morning, I filed the trademark for The Retail Doctor, and here I am 30 years later because of that one point. So again, you better know what the hell you're doing, and you better be clear on it from the start.
And what is the most valuable piece of information we should know that's within your expertise or industry?
So I'm in the retail industry, but it's all the same, man. It's all about people. And as much as everybody says it's all about hustle and it's all about this other stuff, if you don't master the people skills, you're not going to go anywhere.
And what's your, it might be the same or could tie in, but what's your best piece of overall business advice?
I think that you can't judge the opportunities based on what you might think. You've just got to go forward. If you're really passionate about whatever you're doing as an entrepreneur, you're doing it as a business owner, you've just got to not judge it until maybe 5 or 10 years later and say, hey, that was great, but at the time I didn't think so.
And if you could give your younger self one piece of advice, what would that be?
You have no idea how far you're going to go. It's going to be a great ride.
I love it. And in your opinion, what is the key to happiness?
Key to happiness: control your own thoughts. If you don't look at your body as the thing you're driving, you're going to let it drive you, and you're going to let all that junk that you heard from high school or kindergarten or your parents or your well-meaning friends, and you won't know how to turn it off. So the hardest thing is for us just to master what we're letting in there and then drive the damn car. Don't let the car drive you.
And what is the best book that you've read, and what was the number one thing you learned from that?
Oh, gosh, that has to be the classic Dale Carnegie, How to Win Friends and Influence People. And that's just, you have 2 ears and 1 mouth. So make sure that you're always listening more than you're talking.
And what is your favorite quote and why?
My favorite quote would probably be my own. People buy more when they feel they matter. And that's just the key of my whole brand. So that's what is kind of my North Star when I'm speaking on stages across the world or writing my blog at retaildoc.com or when I'm creating new training programs. Amazing.
I appreciate you coming on, man. The last question I have for you before we let you go is, where is the best place for people to find you online?
Well, you can join 300,000 people on LinkedIn, Bob Phibbs. You can go to retaildoc.com and check out my blog or my speaking presentations. And I'm all over Twitter and Facebook as well as The Retail Doctor.
Awesome, man. Thanks again for joining us. We appreciate it.
Thank you.